All right. So this is how we're going to achieve heaven on earth, and this is why you should vote me 2020. So the first thing I'm going to say, or the first thing I'm going to do, is explain the whole history of the world. So there's two forces. There was the sky gods, Anunnaki, and there was God Ulunkin or Yumia. She was here establishing Earth for her bead making studios. So her crystals, her jewels, all that, everything. Hence why they have so much energy. Just like food with made with love, you can tell that's the reason is because she put her love into her all her crystals and everything. She's the one that salted the seas too. And with that, just like the Bible was saying, she took her humans out of earth, out of her soil, while the sky gods took their humans and made them out of mineral deposits, hence why they were more dense and everything too, and less stable and everything as well. And they only made males. So now let me reverse. So this is how it all started. So while she was after she salted the seas and everything, the sky gods came was like, yo, we like what you did. She was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But they were like, we want to establish humans here. She was like, no, because she knew it would cost her her earth. So they came with a chameleon where she then dressed up in her beads and everything that had all the energy. And then the chameleon turned into her beads or turned into her colors. So that's when she was like, okay, heaven is has way more powers than I ever thought, or way too bizarre, but she was by herself. So then she was like, all right, I'll let you establish humans here. I'll go back to the sea because she is a mermaid. They said she has a coral reef too, which is supposed to stay in life and everything like that, which they know. And the coral reefs are making its return. So with that being said, hence why there's also more life at the bottom of the sea than there is on land. So they ended up making the Neanderthals out of, like I said, mineral deposits and everything like that to have them build their own, to build back their resources. With that, they put them in captive conditions, which we learned and through psychology now, when you put them in closed captive conditions or make them work or do repetitive actions, they become stressed and exonerate unnatural behaviors and actually become violent and everything. Hence why they started attacking the sky gods. They left, and because the Neanderthals, no offense to white people, they were white. I learned through that their skin, you can't stay in the sun for so long without burning, and straight hair at the same time promotes heat. So with that too, they thought you guys were gonna die until you guys started building Atlantis, which I learned it was something else. That's when I learned also there was a sea called the Tethys Sea that connected, that went above Africa and between Africa and Europe and North America and Eurasia, and connected Asia to the Atlantic. And that's where I learned, once that thing or that epicenter became well known and everything, Atlantis, they were part of a slave trade. That's where God didn't like as well. So in the Yoruba tribe, they say the Lunka tried to flood the earth, or flood them from the horizon north, which is where all the Neanderthals is, um, because they didn't respect her or her humanity or her earth or anything like that. And there's another example of that with Orion too, where he tried to say he could kill all creatures on this earth, and that's where she sent a scorpion. So with that too, I learned that's where she shifted up Africa to bring those waves, and that's where Egypt was also created too. And that's where the whole Sahara Desert and everything, and she made it a desert so they wouldn't come across. But they ended up coming across or establishing in Egypt by, in the Bible, this is where it comes into, where she made her out of the soil, and there was two. Adam had two wives. Lily, I believe the other name was, where the Neanderthals came and was circling around, and since they were all males, they ended up influencing Adam to where he became a toxic, where he started experiencing or influence or started expressing toxic male masculinity, to where Lily was like, no, you got me fucked up. Since you want to try to, like, be all big bossy, I'll go do them, since they don't have nobody, to boss them around, and that's all they want to be do is to be bossed around, aka be slaves. And that's where she went to go have sex with them, and that's where God then ended up making Eve out of the Adam's rib, so the white woman, and to be a little bit more submissive to God or to black man. But it doesn't matter about all that because we're all now all the same. Only thing is, European DNA or Neanderthal DNA hasn't changed in European DNA in the last 45,000 years. So, with that being said, she put everything by the equator to promote by diversity. Hence why the everything there's more vegetation, more animals, and all that stuff by there, and hence we're supposed to be community. In the Yoruba tribe, they said the differences between European and African nature was because we had a simple truths of where we knew everything, because where we learned that God, or no, everyone knows now that this whole universe and everything from um, sounds, circles, sacred geometry, all that has a frequency and a vibration that matches, that puts everything in harmony. Even the birds, even the trees, everything gives off that. Where the Neanderthals, where they were too overworked and had their thoughts running amok, they couldn't connect to that frequency. Where they learned too that frequency is the same as the biggest star in our galaxy, which aligns to our seven chakras. So therefore too, where everyone's trying to get back to meditative state is because we've been overworked and everything and been taught from the Neanderthals, where in the African community we knew about that already and everything. And where we believed in community, not individualism, where they believed in individualism because they were all just males. They didn't know how to be amongst themselves. And even then, they even said Neanderthals in science and in books, they said the Neanderthals just didn't know how to work together. Whereas the Homo sapiens and everything actually knew how to plan ahead and everything like that, and how to work together and be community, aka Bantu, aka I am because you are, monkey see, monkey do. So with that, we can use our technology and everything to promote our soil again, because our soil is what we are made out of, and our soil composition, our gut, is supposed to be our first brain, which they learn too now in science, that our gut dictates everything. It dictates our health, it dictates everything, even our brains. Like without having a good nutrition or the proper composition to match the same as the organic soil, then that's where we start exonerating all these unnatural behaviors too, while working and everything. Hence why everybody is depressed and have anxiety and everything like that. So if we get our technology to do all the repetitious shit again, or repetitious things, then that's where we could start going back and be a community and start sharing and start being one with each other, and even then being carefree as well. And then we use the technology to establish our earth again, our soil, to where our soil gives us our water, it will give us our vegetation, it will even clear our air, and then that's where too it will also clean our seas, and where all our animals and all our creatures and animals in the seas will also be getting better. Like literally, they're feeding dolphins now vitamins because they're not having the proper nutrients from the soil. So with that, we could also go back to love, creating, and sharing, and doing everything for each other and not for ourselves. So like when we become stressed and everything, again, we're like balled up. We're trying to pull. So that's why we're becoming selfish and everything. That's one reason why too money is irrelevant, because money was supposed to be as a favor, and then they started making that favor negotiable and started leveraging into other people, and then they started leveraging that and that and that until where we all became in a bunch of debt and didn't know where all this money's coming from. Where it was supposed to be us sharing amongst each other and doing all that, supposed to be for the people. And that's where Coco even said that she's like, I'm sorry for the humans, for man, but y'all lost tune with nature. And in chimpanzees, they do everything with a sense of gratitude and compassion, where everything is in a big collection pot. And that's where everybody now, they're selling that back to us because they're learning that's what we're missing. And that's why we're so aggressive and everything too, because we don't treat life as a gift. And everything is a gift, where everything we're supposed to share is a gift, where God, like I said, gave us everything, and all we were supposed to do was give back to her and give amongst each other, and that's where we could give heaven on earth. And that's too where they learn, when you're in these when you're in tune with your mind, body, and soul, that you produce these gamma brain waves, that where you could do almost anything, because everything is in a form of vibrations and information in motion.
So with that, this whole harmonic thing will put us all back into heaven on earth. And in the Egyptian story, Osiris learned that all the souls that were up in heaven that kept order were then returned back to earth to live. So that's why there's so many people right now being born, because we're people that kept order, but we got lost in the system, the matrix system. So now let's break out of it and let's be free, because we could all do it and you know it. So vote me 2020, you dig?